Ladies and gentlemen, in professional wrestling, we have inspirations, we have the bad guys, and we have the good guys. But it is very rare that you find a true hero through the world of professional wrestling. My guest today is nothing short but a remarkable hero in my life and many others. But his story and how he connects with me is what is going to be told today, along with his career both in ring and in the field. Joining me today is former Top Rope Promotions interstate champion and current Somerset firefighter and paramedic. He is still and always will be my hero. Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Costa. Craig, how we doing?
Good, man. That's quite the introduction. I appreciate that. And feelings are very mutual. I'm looking forward to chatting today with you.
Of course, of course. So, for those who don't know how my story with Craig came to be, it was, God, what year was it the first time?
Hmm. I don't know. 10 years ago, potentially? 10?
No, I had to, because I think it was 2012 when we first started going.
Yeah, that's
2012,
right.
2013.
Yeah, it was because you guys were tiny. You guys were small.
Yeah.
hmm Yeah, it started then, and then yeah, because I knew you for about. Because when did your grandfather pass?
He passed in 2017.
Yeah, so that's about right. About five
Well,
years prior. Yeah, 5 years of wrestling
yeah, because
prior.
when you first saved, the first time you saved him was 2011, I want to say.
It may have been. I remember that call, and that was, but it was pretty wild too. I don't remember how old he was then, but the call
Well, he was
came in.
70. Yeah, he was 76 when he passed. So he probably, I want to say 72, 71, maybe.
That's when the first call we
Yeah.
had. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think your nana called, and then
Hmm.
we got there, and he was kind of slouched over on the toilet, and he's in a rhythm called VTAC. So that's a shockable rhythm. So VTAC with pulse. But we shocked him, and uh, and then we got him back, and he started talking, and that was great. And then brought him to the hospital, and that was the first real bond, I'd say, that me and your grandfather had. And then how you
Yep.
became more of a a fan to, and then it was more of a friend, I'd say, with me and you.
Yep.
You know,
100%.
he was still younger, but I still, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. And then the second time, I don't remember. The second time was, God, because I know it was twice you saved him. I just forgot what the second time was for.
The same thing. It was identical. It was the same thing because this is a bizarre. I don't even know if I've told you this part. We go once every few months. We go to something called M&M rounds. We go over calls that we've had.
Yep.
Assess them, see what's going on with that, whether we can do better or whatever. And your grandfather's call was what we were going over. In the
Hmm.
middle of going over that call, we get a call to your grandfather's house again in the same freaking rhythm, and we shocked him out of ETAC again, and that's how it was. It was absolute. I tell that story all the time because that part of it is just on my absolute. The odds of me treating him again, the odds of him in the same rhythm, and the odds of getting the call in the middle of go wild. Yeah, that's some
Yeah.
wild stuff. So
And then obviously, unfortunately, 2017 was probably, besides last year, because as close as I was with my nana, I was close with both my grandparents. You know that. I was
mhm.
always a grandpa's boy. We went everywhere together. We went to Fenway together. We went to see you countless times.
I know. We
And
have a lot of pictures. I have a picture, I think, with you and your grandfather.
yep,
Hey,
I that's going to be
is
the
it a?
thumbnail of the podcast.
That's a classic. That's a good one. We should
Yep,
have took more. Looking back, we should have took more.
of course. But
You know.
one of the proudest moments of his life was getting to stand in that ring the night you won the title and take that picture with you. And I will, looking back on it, I was little at the time, so I really didn't know what was going on.
Mhm.
But in hindsight, as I got older and my mom told me, he was so thankful to have you in his life
That's great.
because, you know, you you were such an inspiration to him and me and countless other people, you know. But I want to kind of talk about that ladder match for the
Okay.
interstate title, the first time you won it, because
The
that was one of the
first
most,
time,
the first time, the one
oh
where
wow,
we were there,
that was like a
2012.
8 guys, 6 guys, eight
Yep,
guys.
8 guys. It was you, Nick Steele was in
Vane.
it, Frankie Vane, Vinny. I think Taven was part of it.
I don't know. I know Reject was in it.
Yep, Reject was in it. But that match itself had a lot of brutal bumps for a
Mm,
bunch of indie guys doing, you know, ladder stuff. I mean,
yeah,
nothing Jeff Hardy-esque because we
just
won't,
yeah,
you know, but kind of
probably unnecessary at the
right.
time.
But like people, and this is what I try to tell people all the time, right, Craig, is yes, professional wrestling is scripted. It is not all real, but the body of work that you guys do and the stuff you put your bodies through goes unrecognized by a lot of people. And connecting one of those things, right? And I'll ask you this later, but with WWE Unreal coming out on Netflix, right? I almost think it kind of ruins the business and the magic for some people, you know? And I kind of want to get your thoughts on like just overall what a normal show day looks like for you when you're going through it and kind of, in a way, the toll it's taken on your body.
A normal show day, like in preparation to having a match.
Yep.
Um, I'm OCD, so me personally, a lot of the guys will go over it once, maybe twice, and they're good. I am a lunatic. I go over it again and again and again, and I drive them crazy. But if you're talking about like that, my normal thing, and then I kind of keep to myself. I'll bullshit. Now it's different for me. The locker room is different. You know what I mean? There are kids in there. They're good. You know what I mean? They're great, but they're also, a lot of them are younger than my kids. You know what I mean? So back in the day, hanging out with Teddy and Thrill Ride and Nick and everybody, that was the peak of it. So 2013, 2012,
Mhm.
those years that you guys went, that was the most fun I had. That was the best era of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously I kind of want to talk about Nick Steele for a little bit because you know we both had the pleasure of getting to know him for quite some time. He was a great guy. How did that kind of affect the locker room and the company when he suddenly passed away?
It honestly, that was the catalyst of a lot of changes with Top Rope and how things came about. It never was the same. It really wasn't. It just felt completely different. It was flat. People changed. It was a weird shift, you know. Um, Ended up being for the better. You know what I mean? But in different, people branching off, and Teddy obviously branched off and came up with Live Pro, and
Mhm,
Drew is doing his and Pro Wrestling and Super
mhm.
Show, and but yeah, when Nick passed, and that's coming up actually, the anniversary's coming up, I think next week, so we're getting close. But that was shitty, man. Yeah, that was a tough one. Yeah, but
Yeah, I remember like I was. What year was it? Was were we in the 2020s when
2020.
it?
Oh, it's
It,
2020.
it was 2020. Yeah,
Oh
because I
yeah,
remember it wasn't too long after I got accepted into Dean or toward
yeah.
Dean.
I
At that
lost my.
time.
You got into Dean. I lost my chief in 2020 on January 2nd when my chief committed suicide. And
Oh
then
boy.
a month later, Nick died. That was the beginning of 2020. And then obviously
Yeah.
the world freaking shook
Yep.
apart.
And you know, it 2020 was a very rough year, and I feel like part of the I feel like the only thing that really got me through 2020 because for me, I had a lot of trouble in 2020 with school because with
Mm,
me, you as you know, I have ADHD,
mhm,
and hands-on learning is the best way for me. And when I was at home half the time, I'm not gonna lie. I'll even say it right now. I was in high school. I was bullshitting around. I'd set up my computer. I'd turn it the other way, you
mhm.
know. But and then when Kobe passed away too, even though we're Celtics fans, when Kobe passed away, it was one of the most heart wrenching things, gut wrenching
Mm.
things
Yeah, that was
you
that was that
saw.
was a
You know,
timestamp. Those are one of those things that are
um,
time stamped.
for sure. But you know, the one thing I'd say that got me through 2020 was the WWE. Even though, you know, it was a shitty time because there was no fans.
Mm.
I have to give credit to two people with this, and I'm sure you will completely agree with who I got to give the two credit to for getting WWE through that year. Number one is Drew McIntyre,
Hmm.
100%, and number two is Roman. When Roman came back as the heel in the back half,
Yeah,
he really saved the WWE in
that
my
did. That was
eyes.
good. That was good. They needed. They
And I,
definitely needed that.
and I still say this to this day, and we're going to talk about this a little later. Roman Reigns and the Bloodline storyline, to me, is the greatest story told in professional wrestling with how good it was
It,
from when he
it,
became the tribal chief to WrestleMania 40.
I agree. That was pretty cool. The whole thing was written pretty well. And like anything else, it gets stale at
Mm-hmm.
the end when they don't know what to do and it breaks off and
Right,
stuff like that
right.
type of thing. But it was definitely it was cool. It went deep. You know what I mean?
It
It
did.
got
It
deep.
did. Like, and that's one of the things too that like it bothers me now with Jey Uso, for example, because now all he is a catchphrase, and he's just getting the crowd going. Sure, he sells merch, but if you go back to when he was first starting with Roman, becoming the right hand man, and Jay didn't want to join Roman, but then Roman forced Jay to join Roman. Jay could cut a very good promo and get like very
Mm,
good, but now you're just holding the guy back by just being, four letters, one word, whatever, all that stuff. But
yeah.
another thing I kind of want to get into here, right, is with you, the work life balance, right? Because you love to be a professional wrestler when you can, but you're also a paramedic and a firefighter. How do you manage to balance the work life balance and such a busy schedule? Also when you were a bodybuilder as well and going to the gym, like kind of like what are your motivation factors and what are your, keys to the work life balance?
Work life balance is the key word there. You know what I mean? It's really kind of giving everything. It's kind of giving everything your everything at once. You know what I mean? And I'm actually just got diagnosed maybe 5 years ago with ADHD too. So I've been medicated, and so I get it. You know what I mean? And hyper
Mm-hmm,
focus is big with me. So I would either when I'm at work, 100% all in patient advocacy. You've seen that. You know what I mean? And when I'm doing wrestling, I'm in a different place. That's my dopamine. You know what I mean? That's it. So, and in wrestling, with all the stress that I have at work and all the, the bullshit that I carry, it's the only time that I can kind of shut it off for a while. Like I'm going over the match, I'm getting excited, whether there's a promo out there or not wanting to fuck up and just, and it's peaceful to me because I'm not like
mm-hmm,
constantly, how the thoughts go. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
Um, and that's what the wrestling is, and then there's family, and that comes before anything. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
So my wife and kids are great. Everybody's healthy. It is balanced right now. I've gotten in a lot of shit when wrestling weighs heavier than other things,
mm-hmm,
but you know what I mean. I'm not going to live with any regrets either. I have to, even now, I have to be as involved as I can. You know what I mean? So.
mm-hmm. So I got another question here for you. In top rope, either when you were in your prime or now, who chopped you the hardest?
Nick. Nick. Had to be. Nick was all of it. Yeah, I don't even have a second. Maybe Reject. Reject would light me up because we just did that to each other. But Nick Steele. Oh yeah, because he didn't hold back. He was trying to grab your sternum.
Yep.
Yep.
Now, we spoke about Devil's Reject just now.
Mm.
The moment you broke my heart, okay, but my grandfather still cheered you on, is when you joined forces with Marshall McNeil and you became the heel.
That was awesome. That was
It was awesome, but you broke little Tyler and little Caden's heart at the time.
I
And
know.
I kind of want to know, how influential, and how good for your career was Marshall McNeil, and what did he mean to you in the business? Like, was he like a Paul Heyman esque and like helped you better in the back scenes?
Yeah, man. When I it was totally different. So turning me, I was sick. I was kind of getting stale with the health. You know what I mean? The whole USA thing, and I wanted
Mm-hmm,
some sort of a change. But turning the milk and cookie babyface firefighter back, like how? So the whole thing was jealousy and envy. I wanted that title and so it went like that. But joining with Marshall was great. I mean, brainstorming with him, how things work. He helped a lot with that casket match with me and Reject. That was the best. That was the best one. We had a lot of, but Marshall, it was just a little bit more fun. You know what I mean? So it was good.
And then you hit Reject with the fireball, and that was the only time I ever think I rooted for a babyface against you.
I actually have the poster of it right here. Is that one?
Yep. That was the night. That was the night. And there's some guys too from Top Rope who have become in the WWE scene or in the AEW scene. You look at Hanson, you look at Vinny. Yep, Mello's over in Mello's in WWE right now. Vinny is in AEW, I believe, or TNA, Vinny, one of the two.
Yeah, he's in TNA right now. He's actually on a pay-per-view, Vinny and Dutch, the Righteous, with the Hardys. They're actually kind of intertwined with a story with that. You know what I mean? And Mello is the United States champion right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Now, I guarantee you, I feel like you must have had to text Hanson about getting destroyed by Oba on Monday Night Raw last week, because I loved Oba. I've watched him become from the character that couldn't get over in NXT to this mega star right now almost, right? And every time he comes out, me and my mom, even my mom, because my mom barely watches wrestling anymore, we're always doing the Oba walk, right? And it's one of the best things. But man, how do you think Hanson's chest felt after that Oba chop?
I know, that's crazy. He's a monster. I don't watch that much NXT. I wasn't really following him. I heard the name. And then when I started kind of getting interested, I was like, wow, he's special, dude. He's got everything. He's everything. So, and the thing is,
and the thing is too, right? Hanson and Rowe are not small guys.
No.
And for Oba to pick Hanson up like that.
He's a big boy, and he's bigger now. When I worked with him in the Top Rope days, he was a big dude, but he's even bigger now. You know what I mean?
Yep. Now, I kind of want to ask you too about, are we going to go for another title run? Are we trying to get that world title?
Right now, I'm strictly committed to Teddy and Live Pro. I'm more of his Jerry Briscoe rather, or you know what I mean? I'm kind of hanging like that. I'll do some interviews. I'll, you know what I mean? I'll surprise here and there, but none of that stuff. Maybe a tag run with somebody.
Hey, if you need a partner, I'm right here. I'm right here.
No, I got extra bowlers, man. I got extra ones.
Yeah, that would be a dream come true. Yeah. And speaking of dream come trues, I actually posted this yesterday. So I'm going to Monday Night Raw in March in Boston and stuff. And I'm very excited because it's the first time since he was in the Shield way back in 2012.
Oh yeah, Roman's going to be there. All right.
I'm getting to see Roman.
That's cool.
And for me, this is a controversial opinion for a lot of people because everybody has Cena as the GOAT, or Ric Flair as the GOAT, or Hogan as the GOAT. For me, Roman Reigns is the greatest of all time.
Already.
And the reason I say already is because, well, number one, he did something that hadn't been done, I think, since you and my mom were in high school together. The long title reign. Yeah. Right? The multiple year title reign. I believe the last one to do it was Hogan.
Probably. Yeah, he had it for a while.
And Roman had it for 1,316 days. I think he became the best heel in all of professional wrestling from 2020 to 2024. And the thing is too, right? He did what a professional wrestler needed to do. He kept you engaged. Because before, and one of the terms in the business that a lot of people like to use is getting over. Roman, from when he beat Taker at Mania 33 to before he left to become the tribal chief could not get over.
No, he couldn't. It was stale. He was getting stale. They were
Mhm.
pushing it. You know what I mean? They were like really jamming it.
And the other thing I wanted to ask you too is, do you think Roman beats Punk at Mania?
Yeah, I think he does. I think he does. Maybe the Money in the Bank will do something, but I think he does. I think Punk's had his time. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
see,
think Punk beating him. I don't think that makes much sense. I don't think either of them are going to be around that much longer.
right, right. I think the thing with Roman, unfortunately, is I think the thing with Roman is we're waiting for that match with Rock. Oh, hi Roxy. Um Not my dog, my friend's dog. This dog sitting and she kind of just peed in the house. So I
Nice.
gotta go
That's
edit
what I'm
that.
doing too. I'm,
Well,
I'm
not edited
redirecting
it.
mine. So
Yeah. Um but one of the things too, right? What I was saying is I think the problem is with Roman is what we're waiting for at that Mania. And it should theoretically to me, it should have happened at Hollywood. It should have been Roman Rock at 39. And then
yeah,
you should have done Cody Roman at 40.
I don't even care about Roman Rock. Like I really don't even care about seeing it. I really don't. I mean, at this point,
And that's the thing.
you know what I mean? That they kind of, in my opinion, is they missed it. I don't know. I think
Yep.
when he comes back, he's so annoying that he's going to be not even like heelish. He's going to be more of like a guy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep. Like the final boss character that we got on the road to Mania last year, or 2024 rather, in my opinion, was the best version of Rock. I
yeah, I
really think it
agree.
was the best version of Rock. But again, like you said, too much time has passed to now invest me again.
Well, it's tough to become relevant again. I mean, The Rock is always when he comes back, unless he comes back, create like something really. I don't know. I just don't really
Yep.
care right now. He could easily kind of bring me back, but right now it doesn't interest
Yep.
me.
Of course. Of course.
I'd
Now
rather
I
see a
kind of,
Roman Rollins. I'd rather see Roman and Rollins, honestly.
I that match I think needs to happen at Mania. I think it would have been for the world heavyweight title this year at Mania, but then Seth got hurt and he had to
Right.
pivot. You know, now the other thing too is Braun Breaker went down at a very bad time.
Yeah, he's out
He
for
had
a
a
bit.
sports hernia.
Yeah, I had that.
Um,
I had surgery in that.
yep, my dad did too, and he was telling me it's not a fun surgery.
No, it sucks.
Um, but another thing too I wanted to talk about, Craig, is just how inspirational you are to multiple people, your kids, me, all the people that you save and stuff like that. So my main thing is, what motivates you to keep going in your life?
Uh, I guess what keeps me going, I try to keep goals. I just try to keep setting goals and trying to be. I do try to be better every day, and whether that's at my job or with my wife or being a parent. It's you can never be on cruise control. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Um, but it's really with that. Yeah.
The thing I'm kind of glad for right now is my mom's not home listening to me record this because she's gonna watch it later. Because if she was, she'd be in tears. You know how
Mm,
much you mean to my mom. You know how much you mean to my
I
dad
know.
and me and everything. And I was almost gonna make the picture of just you and him holding the title in the ring as the thumbnail, but I
That's
don't
cool.
have that one, so I'm gonna do the one with the three of us. But
I think I may have that one somewhere. I think I do. Don't I? I think I have that one.
yeah, I think my mom dropped it off to you at the fire station,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and stuff.
Yep.
Um, but man, I couldn't thank you enough and everything. So, with that being said, this has been a phenomenal podcast, and I appreciate you for coming on and, you know, for everything you've done for me and everything you did for Charlie when you could. And I know he's looking down on us, and he's both proud of what we've both done and been able to do in life, and he's still proud.
I agree. He's a special dude. I'll tell you. So many with me in a relationship with him. There were so many, and I didn't know him all my life. You know what I mean? I met him way later in life, and so many different bonds and so many different things. You know what I mean? Even with that second call, just
Mhm.
You know what I mean? He's a special dude.
Roxy, calm down, puppy. I'm gonna get it for you in a second.
Here come
All
mine
right.
now. Look at that dog.
Yep. Yep. All right, Craig. Again, I would do this longer. Of course, you know I would. But too much longer, and I'm gonna sit here and cry on camera because
Hey,
it's one of those things that's you mean so much to me, and I can't put it into words because of how much you saved him and gave me extra years with him. Because if it wasn't for you those two times, I wouldn't have had him as long as I did. And I truly, truly appreciate that, beyond words. And obviously the last heart attack he had was the one that took him.
mhm.
And it sucks because you wish you could have had more time with him, but his heart was already weak from the other stuff, that it's one of those things where you can't make up time.
Yeah, and I think the time you had with him is more valuable than the time you will, because a lot of times I know it was sudden and it was, but sometimes when you see a mom or a dad or a grandmother get old too, it's like that time with them is not, you know what I mean? It's not as enjoyable, you know?
Right, exactly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Swiss Sports Show with Craig Costa, and we thank him for joining us today, and we will catch up soon again, definitely.
Definitely.
Good stuff. All righty, and you have a great day, sir.
All right, man.
All right,
See ya.
thank you. I apologize for the.
That's okay.
She's going crazy.
That's all right. My guy's being very good. He's concerned.
Yep.